Hello everyone, Tina here. I hope you're having a fabulous, fantastic day. Thanks for joining me for Try It Out Tuesday. Today I thought it would be fun to create a card, a little different kind of a card. So I picked up a designer die set from Echo Park. This is called the A2 pop-up card box die set. And it creates a box card that will fit in an A2 size envelope. I know there's a lot of companies that have these out and I've never tried one, but they look so fun. And I thought it would be really neat to create one for Try It Out Tuesday. When I picked this up, I actually thought it was bigger than it is. It's actually, the main piece is just about a little bit smaller than an A2 size card front. And so it'd be fun to play with this. But I really like the little box and the idea behind it. So we're going to make one. Echo Park has accent pieces. This is the Celebrate accent piece, the pop-up card set. And I thought we would use the balloon in here, but this is also nice for stash building too, because there's buntings and banners and there's streamers and party hats and even cupcake in here. I'm trying to remove the tape from behind my dies, because sometimes if I don't remove it now, I'll put them away, and then when I go to use them again, I forget that there's tape behind it, and then it sticks to the top plate of my die cutting machine. And so it's best to remove the tackiness now. That way I don't forget about it later on. Okay, I'm going to bring in a paper pad from Avery, Elle. This here is called the Spring Collection. And I picked this up, not that I needed another paper pad, but I like that there's two-tone prints in here. They're very subtle but springy. And they're tone-on tones. And there's a few ombre too, like that. And then the very back has a rainbow print, which is gorgeous. And then if you flip them over, you have more two-tone prints. So there's a lot of options in here, and I like that. So we're going to use that to create a birthday card today. So I separate all my pieces. It's a 7-piece set, and we're going to basically die cut out 2 sets of each one, except for the square ones that you see here. The square and the rectangle on the very top we're going to save for later. Those are panels that will go on the outside of the box, and we're not going to use those just yet. But I'm using my white cardstock. I'm using my Cougar Digital. It's a heavyweight cardstock, and these are all the pieces. And it seems to me it will be pretty simple. Now, don't quote me on this. My card turned out great, and I think I did it right, but I may be doing it wrong. So just as a disclaimer, these little pieces here actually are for the accent pieces, or for the balloons. They are raised in your panel. So we're going to start off by scoring our score lines. When you die cut out your panels, there is score line details, and my phone is lighting up. Sorry about that. I'm going to have to get that. So one moment. Okay, I'm sorry I had to leave. I had to get it. The kids are out of school. Spring break actually doesn't technically start until next week, but the school's closing early due to what's going on in the world today. And so I have one at home, and the other one we brought to work, put them to work. And so I had to answer that. I'm sorry. But anyway, I'm rambling. Let's create a box. You could use glue if you wanted to, but I'm going to use score tape. And I'm just adding adhesive to the flaps here. And you can see I already used my bone folder to score all of the panels here. This one I'm going to just adhere, making sure that bottom edge is lined up, and just adhere the panels together so it's one piece now. Now for these, there's score lines also. I just bent them in like a little table. And then we're going to fold them in, and then we're going to add adhesive to these little tabs here. This is actually the pieces that will hold your accent pieces. So you could add as many as you want, or as few as you want. If you want to just put one in there, you could. I die cut out 2, but I'm going to go back in and die cut out 1 more to make it 3. So they're evenly spaced. At the score line, I'm adding one side to the very edge of my panel here, where I adhered them both together. Okay, and it's in the smaller square section. Now my next one, we're going to go on the score line opposite of the first one we just adhered. So it's basically even spaced, using the tabs as kind of a spacing tool. I'm going to take my die and die cut out one more. I'll fold those legs in, just remove the release paper, and then this one we can place directly in the middle. This way I know that they're evenly spaced, and you can see it kind of looks funny. Now, there's no directions on this this die. When I opened up the EcoPark package, there was no instructions on how to create this, so I'm kind of winging it. There could be an easier way, but my card still turned out great. Okay, I'm flipping it over on the side, and I'm going to go ahead and close my box up by adhering my tab to the end piece here. So now I have a box. Now, these little tabs I didn't press down because I want to make sure that these were evenly spaced. So I'm just adhering them on the other side, kind of using the left side as a guide. We'll just tack it down, and I think that's going to work. Now, once I'm happy with the placement of these little strips, I can fold it closed, and then I can use my bone folder, and then we can secure the tape even more. But you can see how it folds. It just closes. Using my bone folder, I'm going to go over my cardstock and just press so I know that the tape's adhering to both sides here. And I'm explaining it pretty well, but it seems pretty easy. For not having any directions, I think it's pretty easy. And it can close to the left and to the right. And then there's a scallop edge on here too, which I thought is really cute. I'm putting it up against a card front panel so you can see the size, and it is slightly smaller than an A2 card front size. Okay, these little pieces go attached on the inside of those strips that we just adhered. That's going to give it height in your box to look like they're popping out. Your elements are popping out. And if you wanted to add flowers to those little strips, I think that would look adorable. I think it would be so cute. Or Easter eggs would be so sweet. So the sky's the limit. You don't have to add the celebrate accent piece. I think you use dies that are in your stash. Okay, for these, we are going to go ahead and do some die cutting with some pattern paper. And then we're also going to create different colors of balloons using the balloon die inside the celebrate set. Okay, I thought, since we're doing balloons, I thought it'd be cute to create a little cloudy background. So these dies are called the stitched Cloudline dies, and I'm going to create 3 panels with one piece of cardstock, and those are going to go layered on the inside of our box card on those strips that we just adhered. This is going to give a light and fluffy look. I'm hoping it is. I'm just trimming them down so they're the width of the panel that's inside my box. And then you can see I used the pattern paper to cut out the balloons. And then I also used my stitch cloud die and cut out some extra single clouds. I'm using my score tape, adding it to those little cloud pieces, and then we're gonna just adhere those on the inside of those strips inside our box, just to create a light and fluffy cloud line. I think you could probably skip this step, but I have a tendency to go overboard. But I think it turned out cute though. But okay, we're just trimming off the edges, and then we'll add some tape to the very bottom and then tack this down to each one of those strips that we added on the inside of our box, just to add a little extra dimension. Okay, we'll go ahead and adhere these. So we have a light and fluffy inside of the box. Oh, so cute. And it closes still. It closes great still. And it's not so bulky yet. I do add a little bulk because I'm going to add foam adhesive to the balloons. But if you don't want no bulk at all, you just skip adding foam tape. Now we're going to add our panels. I die cut out these panels with the light blue. It's a light blue paper with white stars on there, and I'm going to go ahead and add those to the front and back of my box. But I thought it would be fun to add some clouds to this pattern as well. When I got done with this portion before I added the balloons, I thought it looked very babyish. So I thought this would be a cute little baby card too. Maybe have some bottles or some rattles coming out of the box. I thought that would be cute with this pattern paper. But I'm just using my tape runner and we're adhering all of our panels. And then we're going to flip it over and do the same thing to the reverse side. I want to add a couple clouds to my pattern paper here. Okay, and then we're going to fold over our flaps for the inside of the box because we want to decorate those as well. We'll add our little panels to the inside. And there's our box so far. Okay, I die cut out the word celebrate with the orange pattern paper, and then I did die cut out the same celebrate with some black cardstock. We're going to layer them together. I wanted the celebrate to stand out a little bit more, so there's a hint of black peeking out from behind that celebrate. Next, on these little thin strips that we cut out, I'm adding balloons to, or I'm going to call them balloons, but I'm adding clouds to them. We're going to layer 2 of them together. And then for this one, I wanted to space it a little bit wider apart. We'll add a little bit of glue, add another balloon, and then we need another one of these strips on the right side. That way it doesn't topple over. And those are ready to go. I added the clouds because I wanted the fluffy look, and then I also wanted to kind of cluster 3 balloons on each one of those little strips. And so this was my way of being able to adhere it all at once. Okay, now I die cut out the streamers and the celebrate die set with black cardstock. I thought they'd make perfect balloon tails. I think they're meant to be party streamers, but I'm using them an alternate way. And I think they work perfect. The green balloon on top there, I didn't add any streamer to, but just the forward 2, I'm adding foam adhesive and then the balloon tails. And we're just going to cluster them together, and I'm going to continue on and do the same thing to my other little clouds there. Just using some glue. Add a little more glue. This paper here is not regular paper. It has that, some papers nowadays have that shine to it, and that's what this paper has. So getting the tape runner to adhere and then also the glue, it's a little tricky. Okay, so everything's all done. Now what we're going to do is I added score tape to the bottom of my strips here. You could use glue, but I thought score tape would just adhere faster. So this one's going to go on the very back. I'm just going to tack it down behind my cloud there, and then I'll do the same with my other 2, kind of going left to right, so they're kind of spaced. So I have a light and fluffy balloon filled cloud area, and I think that's so fun. I just love the way this turned out. Now in the celebrate die set, there is some banners or bunting. I added banners to each one of my panels on the front, and then also on the inside of the panels that flap over, I added some too. Just for extra color, since that blue is kind of light, we're going to add some colors. And I use the same colors that I used for the balloons, but I did throw in a gray two-tone pattern. And I'm just going to continue on until I have banners all along the edges. And then it folds closed. Now it would fold closed completely flat if I didn't add the foam adhesive behind my balloons. You could see here, but it's pretty flat. It's still a 2-stamp card, or a 2, yeah, I call them 2-stamp cards because usually when I mail my cards it takes two stamps, extra postage, because I use so much foam adhesive. But it does fit in your envelope, and there's lots of wiggle room, so super neat. But again, it's a 2-stamp card. But this was super fun. I think the sky's the limit. I think it'd be cute to create a little flower box with this. I'm glad I got it in this nice little stash set to have, but like the way it turned out. Super fun. If you like anything that you see, I'll leave the links down below in case you guys want to check it out. Now, showing you the underneath, and You might want to check that before you mail it because it was kind of messy with those strips hanging down, so I just clipped them off. But have a fabulous day, guys. Thanks so much for stopping by. We'll see you again real soon. Bye-bye.